I've run Google ad campaigns for hundreds of businesses over the past 15 years, and I found that Google advertisers consistently don't spend enough time on their website or their landing page that they're sending people to with their Google ads. And it doesn't matter how good your Google ad campaigns are, if your website or landing page aren't optimized, you're missing out on tons of leads and sales. In this video, I'm going to go through 8 core elements that you need to get right on your website or your landing page if you want exceptional results from Google ads. Okay, I've got my notes in front of me and let's dive straight in. So the first thing I want to talk about is call to action buttons, which sounds so simple, don't they? You think, who would possibly make a mistake around call to action buttons? How can you get that wrong? But I've seen so many landing pages, so many websites where this isn't optimized. So there's a few different mistakes that Google advertisers make when they are creating call to action buttons or not on their website, as we'll get to. The first thing is they don't have enough of them. They might have one relatively low down the page. People have got to scroll through a lot of information, wait for it to load. Bad idea.
Oh, come on! Oh.
Some people are going to be ready. They'll click through from the ad. They're basically ready to buy, become a lead, etc. straight away. You want to make it as easy as possible for them to do that. So you want to make sure that you've got a number of different call to action buttons. You want to make sure you've got one above the fold most of the time, so they can just click straight through, not just have one buried. And if it's a longer landing page or it's a page on your website where there's a lot of information, just include a whole number of call to actions. Put more on than you think you need to. The other thing they often don't do is they don't make them visible enough. So whatever the color theme is on your website, on your landing page, you want to make sure that the call to action button really stands out. It's a different color or one of the core sort of accent colors of the website, something quite bright. Call to action button is often bright orange or bright red even. Something that's going to really stand out so that if you just skim through the page, which remember a lot of your prospects are doing, they go, aha, I can see it. I can go ahead and click on it to find out where I need to go. The text that you want to include on the call to action button as well wants to be descriptive of the action that you want people to take. So if you want someone to go ahead and order now or buy now, use that as a text. If you want them to become a lead, you could have inquire here. Or if they're signing up for like a lead magnet or something, you could have sign up. So you can be descriptive of the action people to take. And that's going to help people understand the next step. If again, they're just skimming through the landing page, it's barely loaded and they've just sort of quickly gone, oh, what, I wanted that free thing. Oh, sign up. Yeah, sign up. That must be it. I'll click here. I'll go ahead and sign up for that lead magnet. So first one, very simple to fix, but makes a big difference, is call to action buttons. Second thing is visible contact information. If you want your prospects to be able to contact you, make it really obvious. Put contact information up in the header of the website. Make it clear on the website. Have a contact page that people can easily navigate to. Now, I do want to quickly mention, not all businesses do want their prospects to contact them. Sometimes you want your prospects to go through a specific sales funnel instead and not sort of try and skip steps, in which case you don't have to make your contact information visible. If you come through to my website for our Google Ads services, you'll find that there isn't visible contact information because we want people to go through a specific sales funnel where they book in a call and we sort of take them through a process. But that's a strategic, purposeful decision. We haven't just done that by accident. What I see a lot of businesses, this is often the case with service-based businesses, local businesses, where they're very happy for their prospects to get in touch with them, but they've hidden their contact information either not on the landing page, not on the page you're sending people to on your website, or it's sort of the contact page isn't easily navigable via the header menu or something like that. It's sort of tucked away in the footer. That's silly. If you're very happy for your prospects to contact you because you know you're likely to then convert them into customers, make it really easy for them to do so. People often underestimate this one as a little tactic, particularly for those service-based, local-based businesses. And Google also loves visible contact info on a website that they are sending traffic to via Google Ads, because Google's always on the lookout for scammy businesses that don't seem legit. They want to make sure that the businesses advertising on Google are treating their customers properly, that they're real businesses, that they're contactable, because they want to make sure that the integrity of the Google Ads platform is maintained and users don't learn, oh, never click on a Google ad because the advertisers are all rubbish. They don't want that at all. So they are looking for certain signals on your landing page, on your website, that you are a legitimate business and that you are likely to treat your customers well. Well, easy, accessible, visible contact info is one of those things, because Google's, well, it's algorithms. It's not sort of Google's people checking this out and thinking, not in the first stages at least, oh, this is a legitimate business because they can be contacted, but these things are picked up on, and that sort of thing does make a difference. So point number 3 is congruity. You absolutely need to make sure that there is congruity between your ads and your landing pages. Because if someone clicks on one of your ads and they come to a landing page and they get even the slightest inkling that they've ended up in the wrong place, they'll click the back button and you've paid for the click, but that person is not going to become a lead or a sale. You've effectively wasted money. And that can happen if there is a slight difference in language or tone between the ads and the landing pages. It could be if the offer is described slightly differently. Perhaps you've been more specific around your product or service offering in the copy in your ad than you have on your landing page. You want to match those up as much as possible. You are going to see improved results. And that leads me on to point number 4, which is that segmenting out your services or your products into separate landing pages is often by far the best way to go. You are likely to see, well, firstly, more clicks on the front end because the ads are likely to be more specific. Remember, we just talked about being able to match those two up. But also you're more likely to see higher conversion rates once people do click through because they feel like they've landed in a location that has a product or service that is just right for them. So let's say, for example, you are advertising roofing services.
Steady. No!
You could just advertise roofing services, you could have ads about roofing services, and you could have people clicking through to a single landing page on your website about roofing services. But instead, if you broke that catch-all term into separate services pages, separate landing pages, and you had one for roof replacement, one for leak detection, one for gutter work, I'm sure there are other categories that I don't know about when it comes to roofing, then you can create ads that are specific for those searches, so you get better click-through rates in the first place. And then when they come through to a landing page, if someone's looking for leak detection services, they think they might have a leak in their roof, they need to go get it checked out. If they come through to a landing page that's also talking about brand new roofs and gutters and all this other stuff, they might be thinking, oh, is this right? I don't know, do they do it? I just want someone to come check a leak. But if they come through to a landing page that is specifically just about leaks, perfect. They're far more likely to convert because they're thinking, this is for me, I'm going to go ahead and inquire. They have the service that I need. Now, of course, once you actually speak to that customer, go to the property in this scenario, you might be able to sell them. Yeah, there is a leak, but you know what? We found a load of other issues. So we're going to have to replace the whole roof. Or whilst we're up there, we noticed that your gutters had problems, so we're going to have to do that as well. So you can actually do that. But it's tailoring that messaging and making sure that sales process, in this case, that lead generation process, is all aligned and all specific enough so the customer feels like they're in the right place. And you can do this with products as well. I've talked about this before, having segmented landing pages, let's say for different types of running shoes. Let's say you sell running shoes, instead of just coming through to a page and it's got like catch-all, you could have different landing pages for different product pages for marathon running shoes versus cross-country running shoes versus track running shoes versus road running shoes. And you will see better clicks, better conversions with the greater level of specificity. Okay, so point number 5 is to make the information on your landing pages on your website as easy to consume as possible. You do not want to present your prospects with paragraphs of text ever. People aren't going to read it, feels like effort. They've just clicked on an ad, they either want some information or they're looking for a product or looking for a service. If it seems like too much effort on your website, they will just click the back button and they will click onto someone else's that has easier to consume information, they know what to do, and they can reach their objective as fast as possible, which is either going to be find out some information, purchase a product, inquire into a service, take that next step. They're looking to solve a problem, right? So break those paragraphs down into bullet points, break them down into lists, maybe just get rid of a load of information. As advertisers, it's easy when we're creating landing pages to be like, oh, my product or service has all these amazing things and I want to emphasize these points and that will help with the sale. Maybe, but it might get in the way. There's a fine line there, there's a balance to strike, and you have to assess based on your product or service. And what I would typically recommend is that you match the details and the information on the landing page with the size of the ask. So if you're asking someone to sign up for a lead magnet, really simple. We want to have a really basic landing page with just a few bullet points on emphasizing the benefits of why they sign up for the lead magnet, because this thing's free, really easy for them to do. If we're selling a low value product, it might have a little bit more information on it, but again, it's not going to be much because this is an impulse purchase, really easy. If we're asking someone to inquire into much more involved service, like much higher ticket, or purchase a much more expensive product, that's when we need to start adding information. But I would say that from all the businesses I've worked with, I've recommended removing information from a landing page more often than I've recommended adding it, because you just don't want to make your landing pages feel like effort for your potential customers. Okay, so I've got some really other important points that I want to go through. Before we do that, I just want to quickly let you know about our done-for-you Google Ads services. If you're going through this video thinking, I've got to know all this stuff about landing pages and websites alongside knowing how to create Google Ad campaigns that can deliver great results, that seems like so much work, so daunting. It absolutely is, and it can be, especially if you're not an expert in this stuff, and we can do it for you. You can take the easy path and let us create, manage, and optimize your Google Ad campaigns. If you're interested, there is a link in the description below. You can click on that, book in a free call with one of my team members, no obligation call, just to find out more, and we can take all of this workload off your hands. So if you're interested, go ahead and do that, and hopefully we get a chance to work together. Point number 6 is to include visual assets. You don't want to make your landing page or your website boring, much in the same way that we talked about not having too much text because it just seems like effort and I don't want to have to read through that. If your landing pages, websites don't have visual assets on there, if they look boring, it's just not a good look. You don't look as professional. You don't look as if you would provide as good a product or service if your website doesn't look as good. But also it's just boring, and people don't like boring things, just like we all do, right? They're far more likely to leave, go to a website that looks much more interesting and engaging. So including visual assets can make your landing page or website look more professional. It can display your work. It can be a great way to help sell your products and services. You can include visual assets that demonstrate, obviously, your products. That would be fairly obvious, and most businesses that sell products will do that to some extent, but maybe they don't do it enough. They might have just a simple product image. Like, well, could you have multiple product images? Could you have it being used in different scenarios? Will that help you get the conversion? Most of the time it will. The same applies to your services. Show your work, show you interacting with customers, show the great results that you've been able to produce for your customers. We'll talk more about results in a minute. Make sure it's on brand. You want visual assets to be on brand. You don't want it to contradict with the tone and feel of the company as a whole. And in fact, it can do the opposite. It can help emphasize the feel of the company. And that can be a really important part of generating conversions, because if you are a company that's sort of their brand is to be fun and playful, we'll include visual assets that speak to that. If your brand is to be very professional, let's say you operate in an industry where that is very important, you can talk about accreditation and you can present that image. So really have a think about how that marries up with your brand and what your prospects would expect from you, what tone, and then create visual assets accordingly. And that leads on to the next point, which is design. A better looking landing page, a better designed landing page, just like we mentioned with the visual assets, it helps. It helps with conversions, unsurprisingly. You want to make sure that your landing page website doesn't look too busy. We've talked about adding in visual assets, that's good. We've talked about minimizing text, making it easy to consume, but think about the design as a whole. You don't want it to be too cumbersome. You don't necessarily want too many supporting pages, too many navigable pages. I've seen that happen a lot where people click through from Google Ads, they come through to a website, and me reviewing it as if I was a customer, I look at the website and think, look at all these options. There's so many pages linked to up in the header. I think this is too confusing for the prospects. Can we simplify the design of the entire website to really make this easier for people to get to where they want to go, to consume the information they need, and then take the next step? I also think that when you're advertising on Google, sending people through to a landing page or website, there has for a while been this theory that you can try and make it look a bit more authentic. You know, some people will do with content where instead of having like professional recording setup, like I've got with cameras and all that sort of stuff here, they'll just record on a phone and they'll make it look really casual. That can work with content. I don't like it with websites. People do sometimes try and do it with websites. Think, well, it looks more authentic if it's sort of not highly designed, doesn't look very professional. And I think unless you are an exception in an industry where that is much more important, perhaps something very artistic, you're selling, I don't know, handmade sculptures, for example, even then I think a professional website would probably do better. But for the vast majority of businesses, you want to look professional, you want to put your best foot forward. You know what they say about first impressions, right? Well, if someone's clicking on a Google ad of yours, coming through to your landing page, your website, that is your first impression. I think going more professional as opposed to less is a good idea. Next point is navigation. So this is important for Google. Google doesn't want you to send people to a landing page that's a dead end that people can't navigate off. That's a good way to get your ad account in trouble and get ads disapproved. But you can include a good amount of navigation, not too much, not too little. So you want to make sure people can go places, but you don't want to give them 85 different pages they can navigate to, because that's overwhelming and they're likely to not get there. But perhaps there are pages you can make it easy for people to access. So for example, when we're advertising Google Ad services, we'll send people through to our page on our website about our Google Ad services, but people can click in the header. We've got a page with case studies, for example. So you can go ahead and click case studies and they can see the work we've done for other clients. Now we know that that is information that we want people to be able to consume, because if they consume that, they're more likely to book a call. And if they do book a call, they're more likely to go ahead and work with us because they've seen the results that we can do. So you could have the same thing, could be case studies, could be testimonials, could be a portfolio page. There's a number of different options that, depending on your business, that you might want to send people through. So have a good think about the navigation. People often just create a website, they go with the very standard, oh, we need an about us, we need a contact us, we need a homepage, We need, the service page or the product page or whatever, and they don't really give it much thought. Well, actually, you could be smart about it and think, okay, if someone comes through to this landing page from a Google ad, where do I want them to be able to go? Where do I not want them to be able to go? Or not want to go easily, I should say. And then think about that when you're putting in your navigation. Okay, and then this last point, which is probably the single most important, are trust signals, okay? So this is going to be more important for certain industries than others, and there's different ways of doing this. So there's a number of different trust signals. I said I've got my notes, I'm going to run through them. The first is going to be reviews, and particularly important are independent reviews. So if you put up reviews that you've collected yourself, it's good, it carries some weight, but is it as powerful as linking through to like a Trustpilot page or Google reviews, somewhere that you don't have control of, that people know? I mean, Trustpilot, people know that that is a place for the most part where they can trust the reviews. So we have Trustpilot stuff on all over our website, for example, because we have a 4.6 out of 5 rating, which is unheard of for a marketing agency, something we're very proud of. So we want to make that really obvious on our landing pages and on our website. So reviews would be a great way to do it. You could have testimonials. I love using video testimonials for all sorts of products and services, including those on the landing page can be a great option. If you're not able to get video testimonials from clients, that's fine. You can use real testimonials. You can use a mixture of the two. One thing about video testimonials is that often people only go ahead and watch those if they're sort of moving further along the sales funnel, like in their mind. They're like, oh yeah, I'm really thinking about buying this. And then they want that final little bit, and that really helps get them over the edge. Accreditation could be really important depending on your industry. Like, it's not really in our space, but if you're involved in anything where the industry has certain accountancy firm, legal firms, anything health and safety related, accreditation is going to be really important. And then of course there's proof of your work. So if your business is portfolio based, you can include images of the stuff you have done. If you are claiming to be able to get some sort of results for your customers, you can demonstrate it. So again, all over our website, we have screenshots from within ad accounts showing the amazing results that we've got. So not only do we have the testimonials and we have the case studies, but we've also then got, look, you can literally see it. These are results we've been able to produce for some of our customers. And this could be in image form, this could be in video form, whatever would apply to your business, get that in there. It's probably the single most important thing that Google advertisers miss out is these trust signals. And you don't have to use all of them, you might just use one. But there's so many landing pages I review where they've got literally none of them. And I think you could probably double your conversion rate by just sticking, a link to your Google reviews page or some video testimonial or something like that. It's relatively quick and easy to do, but can make an enormous difference. By the way, have you seen that I recently published a full step-by-step Google Ads tutorial video? You can check it out right here. And in that video, I walk you through the entire Google Ad campaign creation process from start to finish. I walk you through all the various settings that you need to get right if you want to see really good Google Ad results. I strongly recommend you go ahead and check it out.